welcome to another edition of the Chapters Creative Conspiracy. My name is Matthew Nanez. I'm your host. And also, I run Chapters Creative, where I help founders and brands and people who want to start businesses create their brands and content using bold and radical strategies. And I am here to talk about today about something I read in Stephen King's On Writing. Yes, that's a Magic the Gathering card as my bookmark, as I do. My goal here is to take the things I'm reading and contextualize it and give a concept that I really feel like resonates with me and hopefully resonates with you, whether it comes to creativity or building a business or whatever else, because business is personal and so is political. Sometimes I'll get political on here, and that time is not now. If you want some of that, sometimes I post on my Instagram, which you can follow me at Chapters Creative, about more of that stuff. But today we're just gonna get right to it. It's been a few weeks, and I'm back in the saddle again. I'm going to be having some more interviews. So if you're familiar with my former podcast, The Thought of Never, I'll be kind of blending together things like this and also the interviews as well. So I've got something really cool in store for you. So hold tight. The interview is this week, but until then, I will hold you off with this. So I believe I talked about this on my Instagram the other day, but I wanted to talk about this story because I feel like it's really important, because it's something I think we all deal with growing up, and it just kind of follows us as we get older and into our professions and things like that. So just to contextualize what's happening in this book right now, Stephen King is kind of going through his history of writing, which kind of was started at a really, really young age. But in high school, he decided to essentially make a zine called a VIB, so meaning very important book. And so he's getting all these stories together, and he's trying to sell them at school. And so what happened was his teacher basically found it and saw that he was selling these to his classmates, which I believe also, like, he essentially wrote a story of a movie he saw on the movie screen and like adapted it, illegally. But in high school, you just kind of do whatever the hell you want. And so that's what he did, but he got caught and he made a mistake, and he's like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And so one of his teachers, Miss Hissler here, I'm on page 49. If you have the book, you can listen along, but had caught it. And so she's talking to him, and I feel like this is really relatable in one way or another. All right, here we go. What I don't understand, Stephen King, she said, is why did you write junk like this in the first place? You're talented. Why do you want to waste your abilities? She had rolled up a copy of VIB #1. It was brandishing at me the way a person might brandish a rolled up newspaper at a dog who was piddled on the rug. She waited for me to answer. To her credit, the question was not entirely rhetorical, but I had no answer to give. I was ashamed. I had spent a good many years since, too many I think, being ashamed about what I write. I think I was 40 before I realized that almost every writer of fiction and poetry who's ever published a line has been accused by someone of wasting his or her God-given talent. If you write, or paint, or dance, or sculpt, or sing, I suppose, someone will try to make you feel lousy about it. That's all. I'm not editorializing, just trying to give you the facts as I see them. Miss Hissler told me I would have to give everyone's money back. I did so with no argument, even to those kids, and there were quite a few, I'm happy to say, who insisted on keeping the copies of VIB #1. I ended up losing money on the deal after all, but when summer vacation came, I printed 4 dozen copies of a new story, original, called The Invasion of Star Creatures. I sold all but 4 or 5. I guess that means I won an end, at least in a financial sense, but in my heart, I stayed ashamed. I kept hearing Miss Hissler asking why I wanted to waste my talent, why I wanted to waste my time, why I wanted to write junk. Holy moly. And I think if you're an ambitious or creative person, you have some sort of familiar story to this as someone who didn't get what you were doing. And I think earlier for me, like, my version of Miss Hissler was maybe not in I think there's two two things that happened to me. Is when I was around 12, my interest in music kind of like came to like a fever pitch, and I wanted drums, but I lived in a duplex on a military base, so we had neighbors to the left of us, and that wasn't going to happen. But like my dad, he was old school. He was born in 1945. He had me when he was 40, the age I am right now, which is bonkers to think of having a baby at this age. But there was a generational gap, like multiple generational gaps. So like the type of music I was in and into, like, whether it be like alternative rock or whatever. This is before I got into punk, but it was just clear like how weird it was for him. For instance, like I bleached my hair once. He called me a slur, a homophobic slur. I'm not going to say it. And I was just getting into all this stuff that he didn't really understand. So even though like I got a guitar for Christmas, like it was almost like a begrudging supporting thing with him, right? Luckily, my mom got it, so like that kind of brunted me from the worst of the Miss Hissler ish thing that could have happened to me with him. But later on, and in high school, playing in bands, this is like the one thing I ever truly wanted to do in my life was to be a musician and play for people and go on tour. And I got a really cool opportunity to do that, which means I would have had to leave like my high school band to join a band that had their stuff a little bit more together, had a record deal, had a record pretty much written and recorded, and had a manager and things like that. And I joined. But I just remember feeling that pressure of like hearing friends tell me that I had sold out. That was really hard. So from then on, I was thinking like constantly wondering if I was doing the right thing. And I think that follows you, at least when you come from like a culture, like a DIY, like kind of a punk culture, and whether or not like you're selling out or not. I think it's a generational thing. I don't think younger people think about that much at all as far as like selling out goes, because who makes money from music these days anyway? So you kind of have to take what you can get. But it's also funny, like those sort of messages follow you even in your professional career. Like, or what if you had like a really bad boss who gave really bad feedback and was rude? I don't have any memories that come to mind right now. I don't have notes right here. I'm just kind of just going for it, just talking right now. But like, there's going to be people who, once I say that, I remember now, of course. I had a manager like make me cry, and like, I remember having like a last second assignment from this manager, and I didn't really understand what was happening. Like, and it was late. It was quick turnaround type of thing. I had to work at night, and I just remember him like laying into me the next day, like made me feel real stupid. He made me cry. Here I am at 30, 31 years old, somewhere around there, and like just like how rude this manager was. And it was basically a mutiny that happened afterwards. We got him fired eventually, but like the idea of like someone like always second guessing what you're doing, even though maybe if it was their fault, if it was the assignment was clear or not. But like overall, it's like that sort of criticism and mean criticism, and like not and having people not support you in ways like that makes a lot of steps moving forward like really weird. Like what is this person going to think about the work I do? What is this person going to think about the things I want to do? What is this person going to think about how I'm putting myself out there and maybe looking foolish while doing it? And so, for instance, like Stephen King here, he did something really cool. Like in high school, he basically made like his own book, his own zine, if you will, and sold it, and to share what he's doing, and to have someone saying that you're wasting your talent. That's a hard thing to hear. Even when he was 40, he still has thoughts about that. And so for myself, if I go on LinkedIn and make a post, I still think about what my friends are thinking about me, or if I'm making a reel for Instagram and I'm sharing it on my my professional page, but then I go ahead and share it my personal, there's still like ugh, there's still some pain to that. And I'm 40 years old now. Like in one aspect, I'm like, well, who gives a shit? Like why do these why if they care so much, like why aren't they like supporting me? And you know, but then again, it's just like, well, this is my life. This is the stuff I feel passionate about doing, and this is my God-given talents on display. And for me, it's like, the whole storytelling aspect. Like, I really feel like I can synthesize people's story really, really well, their businesses, and create the content needed to communicate that to their audience. I feel passionate about that. Why should I feel bad about that? But I'm not going to assume that feeling bad about it doesn't exist. So, like, to see someone like Stephen King, who sold millions and millions of books, and even I saw a thing today, a video today when I was on Instagram about the singer PJ Harvey. Like, she has so much cred about what she does. Amazing singer songwriter, and she still feels that imposter syndrome. And sometimes, like, imposter syndrome is I think it's natural. I think it's normal. But like, is feeling like that for her something similar to what happened to Stephen King or myself or whatever else? It makes you wonder. But I think the real strength is still going despite that. And she's made a lot of great records. Like, I mean, I love that song "Down by the Water." Oh my gosh, that's such an amazing song. And she still feels like she's an imposter. So if she's feeling like an imposter, and if Stephen King here is feeling like an imposter, and if yours truly feels like an imposter, like, I think you're in. Maybe I'm putting myself in their company is a little weird, but I don't care. You're in good company. So anyway, yeah, this book on writing, it's really funny. There's a lot of like meandering, but like, it's Stephen King. Like, you're gonna read his shit and you're gonna love it. So yeah, if there's any lesson, just like, if you have a business idea, or if you have a goal, or you have an artistic idea, like, and maybe you had your own like teacher or parent or community who discourages going after what you want, like, move forward, move forward, and get whatever help you need to make that possible. Someone who's been there before. And so for yourself, that might be me. So if you have a business idea, or if you have a brand or business and you want to hit that next level as far as how to communicate your story, I'm here for you. So go to chapterscreative.com, fill out the contact form there, or follow me on Chapters Creative on Instagram, or follow me on LinkedIn at Matthew Nanes, Nanes. And we can take the next steps, whether it's like you need a new website, or you're just starting from scratch, or you need a video done, new branding, whatever it is. I know how to do a lot of shit. And if I don't know how to do it, I know someone who does. So anyway, just a quick one for you today. And imposter syndrome, it's real. But it shouldn't stop us from moving forward. I think moving forward scared is just means that you're courageous. So be creative, be bold, be radical, be courageous, and I'll be here rooting for you. So anyway, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.